Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to the channel. So you can kind of see behind me, we're somewhere. We are finishing up the Beetle truck thing, I guess, whatever you want to call it in this video. So right now I'm at the metal supply shop getting the custom sheet, piece of metal sheared, because we needed it to be some weird length. I want to say it was what, 50 inches by 30 something. Yeah, so some weird cut, something that we can't just get off the shelf big enough and trim it down ourselves. So waiting on that at the moment, and then I'm gonna meet Corey at the shop, and we're gonna get some work done. We're gonna finish this thing up, and it's gonna look really cool. Yeah, that's basically it. Welcome to the video. Back at the shop now. Just waiting on Corey to show up. So it is 4:11, so he should be here pretty much any minute now. And in the meantime, Efren's over here doing some maintenance on the S. This boy's, valve cover gasket and, timing gear, O-ring, and spark plug tube seals were not happy campers. I mean, just oil everywhere. So he's doing all that and doing a valve lash while we're in here. Oh, well, he's in here. I'm kind of just supervising. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Disgusting. Love it. Love it.
That's a lot of oil. Jesus Christ.
Alright, so the kid finally showed up. And, yeah, just going to get started on the tailgate, which is just the sheet metal portion. What?
The kid finally showed up?
Hell yeah!
We're here.
Yeah, so we're going to do the sheet metal, get that taken care of, and then we just got to trim that big piece up, to fit in here. And then once that, is taken care of, yeah, I just realized we're going to have to, put that in outside the car, but not fully in, and then make the tabs, and then put this back in the bed, and then weld it in, and then put that back in, because it's, order of operations. So that's a little tricky, but we'll be all right.
We'll be all right. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. Nobody knows.
So tell me one more time what your problem is.
So the sheet fits too perfectly to actually go in there, and I kind of thought about this just daydreaming at home, but it doesn't work. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to make a split in the panel because it's a perfect square. We want it to be on the lower level, and it goes 1/2 inch in on either side, top and bottom, left and right. So that physically is just too big. Metal can't shrink or expand in this situation, so we have to split it down the middle to give it somewhere. You got to give some room somewhere, and that's where we're going to give it. We're going to slice it right down the middle. We're going to run some square tubing so that we can pop some Rivnuts on either side. So it'll be Rivnutted down the middle with some nice hardware. And then we've got those, I don't know if Chris has showed you yet, but those fancy weld tabs that we're actually going to utilize Gonna use those guys, and we're gonna actually clamp the sheet metal down, install all those weld tabs, pop the holes from the back side so everything's located correctly, and then go to town. But trial and error, that's what it is with this fabrication stuff. Chris tells you guys all the time. I hear him preaching it. Yeah. Nothing's perfect, but I mean, you can see that the notches cut out for the actual tubes are in line and they're actually where they're supposed to be. So we did our job, but stuff that you can't really foresee, you know? So we're gonna tackle it and hopefully make it look good, and then hopefully the customer is stoked on it too, having the 2 panels, but nothing else we can really do.
So while he was working on that, I was burning some titanium. Never burned titanium before, but it's actually way harder than it sounds. Let me show you that. So this is a PRL intake that my buddy bought for his FK8. And it doesn't come burned. He didn't want to pay the grand to have the other company, you know, get theirs with the burns already in it. And he just wanted to play with it a little bit. So that's what we did. He just gave me kind of, you know, I went to town with the torch, and yeah, so I don't, without having some means to, you know, hook this up to where it's constantly turning and having hotter gas. I think normally when dudes do this, they use the really big, you know, like whole things with the thing. I don't know what it's called. The big torches, not a little handheld one. They use like full size, like big torches to get more heat distribution. And, you know, I don't know. It looks kind of cool to me, but I wanted more evenness to it. It's kind of more like tie-dye looking, but it looks pretty sick though. Gonna have to start working with this stuff more in the future. You know, sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures, and our desperate time is our thing warped on us, and we had to make some desperate measures. So we got it hooked up to the lift, and, you know, we're just doing it this way, and it's working, but yeah. All right, guys, I left the camera at home because we were just trying to get this thing done, get it knocked out. So we actually got it finished. So let's do a final reveal. All right, Corey, you want to do the honors?
Yeah, bud. Check it out. So we finally finished up after days and days of work. Ended up coming out pretty solid. We just finished up on actually tying the cage to the body. You can see those ugly stitch welds right there. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about them, internet, because they're getting bondoed and covered and flushed out and all that good stuff. But basically we have it. We got the little tailgate piece that I kept telling you guys about. Just bear with me, but that's finally what it ended up coming to be. And then we got the panels in. We got them dialed in with weld tabs, Rivnuts, and then we ended up adding some Allen head hardware, button head hardware, which looks really freaking good. I'm actually really stoked. Both me and Chris kind of went back and forth on it, on like ideas and thises and that's, and kind of we both didn't expect what the actual final result was going to be.
Yeah, no, it ends up looking really sick. So
dude, like we actually know what we're doing, huh?
Yeah, right?
It's really cool, really cool.
Yeah, it's
kudos to everybody. Freaking kudos to Chris for providing a solid shop to do stuff like this. Kudos to me to freaking been doing this work, so I kind of know what I'm doing, but mainly kudos to Chris because, man, dude, like, really, this couldn't have happened without his shop, his knowledge, time, effort, everything else. So, dude really killed it, and honestly, like, I don't want my name on this at all. Like, this is all Chris. I just came in here and helped. This dude killed it.
No, this kid knows a lot. So, the only thing that we didn't do is the fronts, because we both agreed that they need to be able to access the hardware right here. And it was me that initially convinced them to do a gusset plate along there, but, you know, her initial decision wasn't really for it at first. So it's good probably that we didn't do that anyway. But yeah, so this is pretty much it. I mean, it's looking really good. Everything's fully welded out. It's all bolted up. Like,
get up in here,
yeah.
Take your groceries to the store if you need.
Yeah.
Like, we did our job, that's for sure. I'm stoked on it.
Yeah, she's definitely going to be able to carry her little fruit ranch things just fine. So
no doubt.
Yeah, it's freaking dope though.
You know, we can't just be provided with the task of making a truck bed. I mean, he's a fabricator, I'm a fabricator, so at the end of the day, we have to flex a little bit and kind of put some style points where we can fit them in.
Yeah, I mean, there's like plenty of dudes out here in Arizona, or just in general, where you can go and sure you can get the job done, maybe a little bit cheaper, that whole I know a guy. But when you come to guys like us that actually take pride in the work and have something to show for it, you get a product like this.
Yeah, and we actually genuinely, like, Most people go out and ride skateboards. Chris rides skateboards sometimes. People go out and ride dirt bikes. We literally do fab. Like, this is what we like to do. So, I mean, you see those guys that practice wheelies on dirt bikes or practice that jump or whatever, and it takes hours, days, time, like years. And then you see them ride so good or blah, blah, blah. Like, it's the same thing, just in a different aspect. Like, we put a lot of time and money and just basically like messing up and everything else into this to be able to create a product like this. So
yeah, I mean, even with this, it took an extra day or two, partially because we kept running into small issues, but you know, there was trial and error as we were doing it. I mean, but if you go with the cheaper guy, you probably don't get cool custom tube ends like that. You know, you don't get really good quality welds like that, and then, you know, all the TIG welds like that. Like,
they send you on the way with mismatched hardware that's not even there.
Yeah.
Cuts that aren't even straight, welds that aren't even welded. Like, this cage doesn't even matter, but we still took the time to tack it in, pull it out to where we could finally weld like the underside and everything. I don't mean to hate on nobody, but if you go to every other guy in Arizona, quite a bit of other guys in Arizona, literally they would have welded the tops of what you could actually physically see, and then they would have called it good.
Yeah, because I actually got quite a few guys in my messages right now that are waiting on work to get money back from other, you know, welder fabricator guys out here that, for example, did cage work, and you know, it's half welded. The welds that are there aren't penetrative, they're all cold. You know, there's just a huge quality difference. And so basically, long story short, both of us just take huge pride in our work. So yeah, this thing is basically wrapped up. But yeah, I'm sorry I didn't finish the whole video. But again, tonight we were just grinding, basically just doing the last of the sheet metal stuff. So this is going to be pretty much a wrap on the Beetle project. And I was super stoked to have this dude along the ride. And I know you guys like seeing him on the channel. So hopefully, Lord willing, we can get bigger projects like this. We can have more jobs together, and yeah, hopefully the owners are pretty darn stoked. So yeah, back to regular schedule programming. Just kidding. You know we can't end the video like that because we didn't forget to. We had to add some more. So we added. Yeah, we're never done. So we added this plate to fill this gap, so it just looked a little bit more finished, and also to help protect the carbs just a little bit more. And then we also added some license plate mounts. So. Well, license plate, man. Now it's done. Now we're looking extra money. So now it's ready to go back to the owner, go to bodywork, do whatever they're doing with it. But me and Corey are done. We're tired. We're exhausted. He's got kids to feed. I got to feed myself.
Dirt bikes and fucking diapers, dog.
All right, now back to programming.